In this video, I'm going to talk to you about why your discovery calls are not leading to the next appointment. So let's dive into it. I'll tell you who I am in just a minute. Okay, so part of the reason that your discovery calls are really leading nowhere and they are not converting to solution development meetings or proposals is because you think you're there to only ask questions. Understanding that the right questions are imperative in this environment, but you also need pre-meeting intelligence briefings so that before you go into the meeting, not only are you asking the right questions, but you're also letting them know that you've done your homework. Let me tell you how this sounds, and then I'll get to my introduction. If you go into a meeting and you start with, yeah, I'd like to ask you some questions. I've done some homework and I realize that you do XYZ. You make widget number 1, 2, 3, and you've been doing this for 150 years and you're really great at it. I know you've been with the company for a year and a half. Super curious about like what had you choose this organization? I know you kind of come from this industry. Okay, you're just letting them know that you've done the basic levels of homework. But there are underlying nitty-gritty foundational pieces that are critical. And first and foremost, you really want to go in talking with them about not only their current situation, which you may be able to find out about, but you also want to go in talking to them about what it means for them to get to their desired state and what it means for them to not get to their desired state. And you want to share what you know about the firms, the companies, the clients you've worked with that haven't gotten to their desired state, right? That haven't gotten to a place where the problem was solved, where they were able to save the money or increase revenue or all the things. So that's first and foremost, right? You want to really get into it and help them understand. In addition, you're also sharing or gaining information around the cost of the status quo. Because if we don't talk about the cost of inaction, the cost of doing nothing, they will stay exactly where they are. And most deals stall out because we didn't collect the numbers in the beginning. And so, with that, we don't have any way to talk to them about the cost of the status quo. Let me give you an example. Actually, let me introduce myself. I'm Cheryl Parks. I'm Cheryl Parks. You're listening to the Sales Growth Coach channel. At the end of the day, the reason this may all apply to you is I've been in sales for over 30 years. I've sold B2B, sold over $25 million in the course of my career, and I've always sold to Fortune 1000s, in addition to coaching hundreds of coaches to also sell multi-millions of dollars. Okay, so let's get back to it. If I'm talking to a corporate sales leader and their team, and I had this before, and their team is a team of 20 salespeople, and only 20% of them, okay, we're talking about 4 people, are actually hitting sales quota. And let's just say their sales quota is 100K for each of them for the year. Now, I'm going to say that this particular company was selling cold water bottles on a hot beach. Like, I mean, they're selling something that, if you're selling like power tools to Home Depot and Lowe's, right? I mean, Home Depot and Lowe's buy power tools. Like, why would you not be hitting your quota? And don't get me wrong, I know it's still a challenging job. At the end of the day, though, for only 20% of your 20 reps to be hitting quota is significantly under the bar, right? So for every day, every week, every month, every quarter that goes by, there is a diminishing return that happens with your reps hitting quota, right? And that's quantitative, but if you add qualitative, like when reps get to Q3 and they just haven't, they're looking like they're not going to hit their quota, all of a sudden you're talking about the confidence level that drops. You're talking about confusion, clarity. You're talking about things that happen that impact their competence when they're in front of the buyer. So now I'm talking to them about let's just say we're in February or March. Now I'm talking to them and I'm saying, the longer you wait to make a decision about bringing a fractional salesperson in, or a fractional or a leader, a sales leader, the further down the pipe you're getting, right? So when you're not hitting quota, the number of days that go by significantly impacts your ability to hit quota. Okay, so again, we've got 20 reps. Each of them have $100,000 quota. Okay, $100,000 quota. If my math is right, that's a $2 million quota. Only 4 of them are hitting. That's $400,000 of $2 million. My math should be right. I should check it, but let's just go with that. 400,000 of $2 million. If you do the math with them and for them, you'll begin to help them understand how significant the problem is, right? So first and foremost, we have to be gathering that information from them so we can do cost of status quo. It's that simple. That's number one. Buyers do not buy typically to gain. They buy to stop the bleeding. So if 16 reps aren't hitting quota, or you have high turnover, or your reps are unclear, confused, or incompetent, right? You'd be more likely to invest in something to help those scenarios than you would be if 16 reps are hitting quota and you want the other 4 to hit quota. That's a different scenario, right? That 80-20 rule. So that's the second piece. The first piece is we're not talking about we're not gaining the intelligence around the cost of inaction or cost of status quo. So we're not able to speak to it. That's number one. Cost of status quo can be foundationally add urgency. Number two, we're also talking about the impact that it has, right? As you get to diminishing returns because the team's not hitting quota, then what do? You've got to shift and figure out how to inspire, motivate, help them change identities, coach, all of the things. And so again, we asked the question in the beginning, why aren't your discovery calls converting? It's because you're not gaining the right data in the beginning so that you can have full conversations around helping them navigate out of the cost of the status quo. Okay, I'm going to leave it here. That's a lot to digest. I'm going to leave it here, keep it super simple. If you want to hear more, click subscribe, right? Hit the bell and leave me a comment. Like what's happening in your world, in your industry? What are you seeing? What are you feeling when deals aren't coming through? What are you feeling when deals are coming through? Okay, don't forget to subscribe and hit the button. I'll see you soon.